David Smith here with one more Flip Classroom Math video. 3 tips before you start. First, you can speed up or slow down the playback if that helps you get through the video at your own pace. Second, you can pause the video at any time to catch up with your notes. Third, you can turn on the captions and watch my words go by on the bottom of your screen. Today's lesson, we're going to take a look at something we're going to call intercept form for a quadratic equation. Now you know that our standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c, and that's what we use. But intercept form looks like this. F of x equals a times x minus m times x minus n. Now, if you remember your factoring and solving quadratics, this is factored form. I mean, it's not called that in our book, but really what we have done here is we've taken a quadratic like that one and factored it into this. And the intercepts are right in here. Just like in vertex form, you can quickly pull the vertex right out of the equation. In this form, you can get the x-intercepts right out of the equation. All right, so let's take a look. Let's break it down and show you all the things you can get from this form. First off, the intercepts. They are just m, 0 and n, 0. The x-intercepts are pretty easy to get. You can just pluck them out of the equation without doing anything. So far, so good. Now, the symmetry axis is almost as easy. You just take m and n and divide by 2. It's the average of m and n. Remember, the symmetry axis is exactly halfway between the two x-intercepts, so this kind of makes sense. It's the average of m and n. So there's your symmetry axis. Now, your vertex happens on the symmetry axis, so the x-coordinate of the vertex is just m plus n over 2, which is the symmetry axis. And then to get the y-coordinate, you just plug the x-coordinate into the function to get the y. So that's f of m plus n over 2. Great. Now one more thing we need is the is the y-intercept, and that is down here. Y-intercept is just 0. Remember, when it crosses the y-axis, the x value is 0. So the x-coordinate is 0, and then you just have to do f of 0 to get the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. Okay, so I want you to give a try. Here's a function that's in intercept form. I want you to pause the video and march all the way through. See if you can do all of them. Actually, tell you what. What I want you to do is just do the x-intercepts, and then we're going to come back, because there's a tricky bit with that I don't want you to do the rest of it if you didn't catch that tricky bit. So just try and find the x-intercepts from that function. Okay, let's see how you did. Now here's the thing. The tricky bit is figuring out what m and n are. Okay, you've got to get that right. So here's the thing. The quick and easy thing is just to remember you have to change the sign that you see in front of these constants. So m is 5 and n is -3. Now there's a reason for that. Remember that the x-intercept happens when this whole function goes to 0, when the y value. So that happens when either x minus 5 is 0 or x plus 3 is 0. So if we solve those two little mini equations, x minus 5 equals 0, move the 5 over, x equals 5, so that's why that is 5. And the same thing with this one, x plus 3 equals 0, so x equals -3. So that's like the deep background, but really what you just got to do is remember that your m is opposite sign and your n is opposite sign. So I like to write those down just so I know what I'm doing. You don't need this. Okay, so now let's do that x-intercept. Oh, that's nice and easy, right? 5, 0 and -3, 0. So that was easy. Now I want you to pause the video and find the symmetry axis, the vertex, and the y-intercept. Okay, let's see how you did. This was A. B is going to be x equals 5 plus -3 over 2, which is going to be 2 over 2. So we get x equals 1. So that's our symmetry axis. Pretty straightforward. And you'll notice that 1 is exactly halfway between 5 and -3, so it makes sense. Let's do C. Let's get our vertex. So we need to do f of the symmetry axis. So we're just taking what we found in the symmetry axis and we're plugging it into the function. I'm going to plug 1 into my function right here. So I'm going to get 4 times 1 minus 5 times 1 plus 3. Just like that. So let's simplify this on down. We're going to get 4 times -4 times 4, and that's going to equal 64. So my vertex is 1, I'm sorry, negative 64, negative 64, like that. Okay, now let's do the y-coordinate, or the y-intercept. So that is going to be 0 for my x, and then I have to put 0 into my function to get my y. So we need to do f of 0. F of 0 is going to be 4 times 0 minus 5 times 0 plus 3, like that. And let's solve that out. That's going to be 4 times negative 5 times 3. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20 times 3 is negative 60. So the y-intercept is 0, comma, minus 60. Now you could put this into your graphing display calculator and confirm all of your answers. That would be fine. But when you get a problem like this that's really basically algebra intensive, you want to follow this technique to make sure that you can do that. Because practice makes perfect, let's do one more example. So I put a different example problem up there. I put a couple prompts for you to figure out what your m and your n are. So what I want you to do is pause the video and take that through all 4 steps. X-intercept, symmetry axis, coordinates of vertex, coordinates of y-intercept. All right, let's see how you did. First off, my m is going to be positive 6 and my n is negative 2. Okay, now I can do my intercepts. Quick plug-in. That's going to be 6, 0, and negative 2, 0. Moving right along. B, that's my symmetry axis. So I've got x equals 6 plus minus 2 over 2. That's going to be 2. So that's x equals 2. Sweet. Now let's do our vertex. The vertex, to get the vertex, I need to do f of 2. So f of 2, plug my 2 into the function, and I get minus 2 times 2 minus 6 times 2 plus 2. That's going to be minus 2 times minus 4 times 4, like that. So this is going to be 32. So my vertex is 232. And last but not least, the y-intercept. Let's go to D. That's going to be, we have 0, that's just the x value. We need to find out what f of 0 is. So let's do that. F of 0 equals negative 2 times 0 minus 6 times 0 plus 2. That's going to be minus 2 times minus 6 times 2. So this becomes positive 12 times 2 is 24. So the y-intercept is 0, 24. Like that. Now that you've watched the video, take a moment to jot down any remaining questions so you can ask them in our next class. If you want, you can come back and watch the whole video again if that helps deepen your understanding. If you enjoyed the video, please click like or subscribe.